Before I start this video, I want to say that the theory I'm about to tackle is a pretty old one. In fact, it's something that's been speculated about ever since Breath of the Wild came out. As you can tell by the video's title, the theory I'm talking about is where Link originally lived prior to Calamity Ganon's attack on Hyrule. Thanks to some information from the Creating a Champions book and the game itself, I think I might have found out where Link lived before the calamity happened. Where might that be? Well, watch this video and you'll find out. Before I begin going over where Link could have lived 100 years ago, I need to go over the information we know about Link that's been said in the game and stated by the Champions book. That way, we can use the process of elimination to see what places fit with the information given to us. To start things off, we all know that Link is a knight, and in Memory 11, we're told by Zelda that Link's father was a knight as well. The Champions book gives us more info by stating that Link and his family were part of a line of knights. Next, it's stated that Link had been wielding a sword since he was around 4 years old in both Mipha's diary and the Champions book. Both sources of information also states that Link had beaten adults at that age, and what's more, the Champions book states that the adults he had beaten were all of Hyrule's best knights. In Mipha's diary, we learned that Link had become an accomplished knight before he became a champion. It's also stated in Pyrrha's diary that he was the youngest knight to become part of Hyrule's royal guard. In the Champions book, it stated that Link had the Master Sword ever since he was around 12 or 13 years old. In Zelda's diary, and in the Champions book, it stated that the reason Link had such a stoic personality before his resurrection was because of the massive amount of pressure placed on him due to his role against Calamity Ganon and as the wielder of the Master Sword. Finally, in the Champions book, it stated that Link came from the country. Now that we have all this information about Link, we can move on to the next step and see what places would fit with the information given about him. Let's start things off by talking about one of the most popular places that people believe to be Link's home, Hotno Village. Hotno Village is a village that resides far away from central Hyrule in the East Necluda region. Because it's a village and it resides in the countryside, it fits with Link being from the country. However, in my opinion, I don't believe that Hotno Village was Link's home. To start with, why would Link live all the way out in Hotno Village? We know that Link's family had been knights for generations, and Zelda in Memory 11 mentions how Link's father was a dedicated knight when she talks about how similar Link was to him. Since Link's family was so dedicated to serving the royal family, what sense would it make for them to have moved all the way out to Hotno Village where they couldn't do that? It wouldn't make sense at all. Next, how could Link have fought against all of Hyrule's best knights at 4 years old if he lived all the way out in Hotno Village? Simple, he couldn't have. It would be hard to believe that all of Hyrule's best knights went to Hotno Village to spar with a child. So, if that wasn't the case, then you would have to suggest that Link's father took him to Hyrule and then had him spar with the knight. Is it possible that happened? Yes, but it's a stretch. Next, where did he receive knight training from? Mipha's diary suggests that Link might have received some sort of training to become a knight, and we know he continuously trains thanks to Memory 11. The Necluda region doesn't have any place where Link could have received knight training from, so we would have to assume that Link either didn't receive training because of his own skills, the Master Sword granted him automatic knighthood, or he received training somewhere else. Again, is it possible? Yes, but it's a stretch. Lastly, one of the reasons people believe that Hotno Village is the place where Link lived is because of a house that you can buy in the game. In the game, when you first come across the house, you find out that it's being torn down. One of the workers named Carlson will tell you that the original owner of the house had left the place due to being summoned to Hyrule Castle for duty and had never came back. We know this had to be around 100 years ago due to Hyrule Castle being abandoned since then. People have pointed out that Link could be the owner of the house due to him being a knight back then, and that his time in the Chamber of Resurrection could explain his long disappearance. While this does make sense, I don't agree with it. Why would the house of someone as famous as Link be torn down? Link had gained a huge reputation before the events of the Calamity, so I doubt anyone would have forgotten him so quickly within 100 years. Not to mention, there's oddly no memorial to someone as famous as him, while the other champions had their own memorials. Not only that, but when Impura had tried to keep Link's house off limits, she lived in Hot Snow Village for 100 years, and she knew that Link was going to wake up at some point in time. There's no way that she wouldn't have found out about the house belonging to Link, or someone connected to Link, and tried to keep the house as he left it. So, I doubt the house was originally Link's to begin with, and I doubt he lived in Hot Snow Village at all. With that being said, let's move on to Castle Town. There's not much to say about Castle Town because Link couldn't have lived there. See, in the Champions book, it stated that Castle Town was the largest city in all of Hyrule. So we already know that Link couldn't have lived there due to the Champions book stating that he was from the country. The last place I want to talk about is the one I believe to be the most likely place where Link lived. I believed he lived in Mabe Village. Mabe Village was a small village set in Hyrule Field, and because of that, it would fit the description of Link being from the country. The village was close to Hyrule Castle, so it would make sense for Link's family to have lived there, as they would be able to serve and protect the royal family as soon as possible. Plus, Link has lived in Hyrule Field before in some games such as A Link to the Past and Minish Cap. Next, Mabe Village wasn't far from the Hyrule military training camp. If we were to assume that Link had trained to become a knight, then he most likely received training from the camp. It's also possible that he sparred against all of Hyrule's best knights at the camp, since it's not far from Hyrule Castle. If Link lived in Mabe Village, it would explain why there's no record of Link's home, or why there's no memorial to him, since the village had been destroyed due to the events of the Calamity. Finally, as a bonus, Mabe Village isn't far from the Korok Forest, the place where the Master Sword once rested. So, in my opinion, Mabe Village is the most likely place where Link lived. If you don't agree with this, then that's fine. But, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you all enjoy my future videos as well. Thank you.